Do you feel like you're always running short on time, that there aren't enough hours in the day, and that you can't seem to complete those really important tasks in your business? Today, we're going to cover ways to identify where you're wasting time, how to get more done in the hours that you have, how to understand your top priorities, and how to ensure you're making time for what matters most. Let's dive in. Number one, where are you actually spending your time? So the very first thing that I would encourage you to do is to do a time study. Time studies are very simple yet highly effective practices that will help you see exactly where your time is going. By simply understanding where you're spending time, you're going to be able to analyze which tasks are really eating up a lot of those hours in your day, but aren't actually propelling your business forward. Time studies are really, really effective, but most people are worried that, you guessed it, they won't have time to actually complete them. Truthfully, millionaires, multimillionaires, and even billionaires have done time studies, so if it's worth their time, it's definitely worth yours. I'm going to put a link to a time study template in the description so that you can download it, and I'd encourage you to print that out and have it next to your desk. You are going to go through this for the next 2 weeks, every 15 minutes, or you're simply going to write down on that time study sheet every time you switch tasks. So what you're looking for is, what is the programmer tool that I'm using, and what is the focus of what I'm doing? So if you're in your email inbox, that is not just one task. That could be customer service related emails. That could be answering disputes or client communications. It could be promotional opportunities or speaking events that you're dealing with. So make sure you really understand what that specific focus is, because some of those things can ultimately be delegated. Time studies at the end of that 2 weeks should show you, where is the bulk of your time going, which tasks are taking the most time, and help you identify which task you can get rid of altogether, which tasks you should be delegating, and which task maybe you're spending a little bit too much time on. So that could be scrolling on social media. It might be writing really long emails that you could find out how to templatize. So this is going to be very eye-opening. Even though it does require time, it is a critical element in getting your time back. So I really want to encourage you to take action on that. 2, the second thing that we are going to look at is, where do your priorities actually lie? Most business owners think they know what their top priorities are. However, the time they're spending working in or on their business may not actually be reflecting those. So revisiting where your priorities are will really help reiterate what you should be focused on during your work week. So if I ask you to name your top business priorities, I would hope that sales and marketing would be at the top of that list. Ultimately, no business owner has a business without sales. You have to be bringing in revenue for anything else to matter. If you're not marketing, you're not going to have the opportunity to make sales, which again is the lifeblood of every business. So ultimately, those 2 things should be at the very top of your list. Sometimes when I ask business owners where they're spending their time, they might say things like fulfilling for their clients, hiring, firing, training, customer service, or sometimes social media content or content creation. And while there is a place for all of those things, if you do not have a consistent flow of leads and clients or customers coming through the door every single month, none of those tasks will matter for very long. So get your priorities straight, understand what you as the business owner should be doing, and what other people can do to help support you. There are certain things that only you can do. Those are the things that you should be focused on. So get really clear on those priorities, and it will make all of these following steps easier. My third time management strategy today is using the time management matrix. So this is a concept I first learned about when studying Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This time management matrix breaks down all the tasks that you're doing into 4 quadrants. So quadrant 1 is going to be urgent and important. Some of these tasks will be things that are a crisis. Maybe it's a pressing problem or a deadline-driven project. Quadrant number 2 is going to be important, but not urgent. Those are going to be things like building relationships, finding new opportunities, long-term planning, preventative activities, personal growth, and recreation so that you are energized when you are working on your business. Quadrant number 3 is going to be not important, but urgent. These are things that are more of interruptions or got-a-minute meetings. They could be emails, phone calls, text messages that you're dealing with, going back and forth with different team members, or even customer communications that ultimately could be handled in a much more effective way. Could be different activities that you enjoy, but they're not necessarily giving you that energy boost through the rest of your week or working on your business. And maybe it's dealing with pressing matters that aren't of critical importance. Quadrant number 4 is really things that are considered busy work. They're time wasters like scrolling on social media. Could be some types of calls and emails that just aren't truly important. And then maybe some types of personal activities that really you could let go altogether. Most business owners spend a lot of time focusing on quadrant 1. That's the urgent and important. Obviously, these are important tasks, and because there is that urgency to them, you feel like that's where you need to focus. And while those are really important things, there are aspects of those urgent and important quadrant 1 tasks that you may be able to delegate to other team members. Truthfully though, quadrant number 2 is going to give you the most bang for your buck in terms of your time. The non-urgent but important tasks. These are things that are going to allow you to plan, to future-proof your business, implement new systems, network and build those relationships, those opportunities that only you can facilitate. This is something you really want to block out on your calendar and make intentional time for. Quadrant number 3, that not important but urgent, these are tasks that you should typically be delegating. And then quadrant number 4, not important and not urgent, those need to be gone altogether if you want to make the most of your time. Number 4, this is going to be hiring a virtual assistant, maybe an executive assistant, or certain types of team members to help you do more so that it's not all falling back on you. As someone who works with a lot of local business owners, I'm constantly surprised at how few of them have ever considered hiring a virtual assistant. While this may be a lot more common with agencies and marketers and online businesses, local business owners can use virtual assistants just as effectively. There are a lot of online tasks that they can do to offload the time that you are spending, or maybe other staff members are spending, on certain types of tasks that are easy to train someone on. Maybe there's some of those monotonous or repetitive tasks that aren't really very exciting, and truthfully, you could teach anyone to do. That way, your internal staff members that maybe have a higher level of knowledge about what it is you do, what it is you're looking for, or maybe they're more skilled and they're able to perform those higher level activities, their time will be freed up, and the things that are taken off of your plate can really be dedicated to quadrant 1, but especially quadrant 2 activities. If you are thinking about hiring someone like an executive assistant, this can be an amazing option. Having a really great assistant in your business should be one of the best investments you ever make. This is someone who ultimately can learn how to manage your inbox, manage your calendar, book your travel, facilitate client communications, oversee projects, and help with some of those lower level tasks across a variety of categories in your business. There are also other team members you may consider hiring that will take away some of the pressure on you to do that actual fulfillment work, and you will then be able to spend more time focusing on the business growth, those systems that really are going to take you to the next level, and a little less time on those day-to-day activities. So make sure that you're not just hiring people without really thinking about the type of people you're hiring. There's a saying from a book called The Energy Bus that says you need to get the right people on the bus and then figure out which seat on the bus they should have. And I think that is extremely true. If you're hiring people with the right personality traits, the right character, the right work ethic, maybe do something like a Kolbe Index to really understand their personality on a deeper level, you should be able to train them in a variety of activities that really fit along with that. That way, they're going to be more excited to do those tasks, they're going to be a better fit to do those tasks, and they're going to stay a lot longer. If you are going through a revolving door of hiring and firing, you're ultimately wasting a lot of time just doing that, and it's not really helping you get anywhere. On that same note, training those new staff members is critical. This is something that really should fall into that quadrant 2 type of activity, putting together training programs and resources for new staff members. This may seem like something that is not urgent, not pressing, and sometimes it's not, but it is one of the best time investments that you can make in your business, because then anytime you need to bring someone new on, you have a very clear set of instructions for them. You have a program they can go through independently. You have tasks that they can try out and really get those assessments completed to see how much they're actually learning before you send them into the deep end. And ultimately, if you put them to work on those tasks too soon, you may find they're making a lot of mistakes and you're having to go back and correct it through a lot of rework, which again is wasting your time. So training programs and hiring the right types of people will save you a lot of time, but there is a time commitment that's required for those on the front end, but it's worth every single second you spend. Number 5, this is something called time blocking. Time blocking is a really effective time management strategy, and this really should be based on how you as a person operate. So time blocking is really taking tasks that are very similar, some people may call it batching, and putting it into certain blocks of time throughout your calendar, really setting up your calendar for success in terms of when you will work on certain activities, and you really need to hold yourself accountable to that. So if you're the kind of person who is great at working in the morning, you feel like you've always been a morning person, you're ready to take on the day right away, you may want to block out some of the more challenging or deep work activities earlier in the morning. You may want to add some of those lighter or more recreational type of activities in the afternoon. If you're not a morning person, you're setting yourself up for failure by putting those heavy tasks in the morning. So make sure that you are really blocking this out, not based on anyone else's ideal schedule, but on your own. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. We are able to create our own schedules and follow them in a way that allows us to be happier, but also get more done. Simply batching these tasks together is also going to save you a lot of time. Your brain has to spend a lot of energy when you switch gears. So that's not just switching from one program to another, but it's also switching from one type of task to another. You're not really able to get into that deep focus before you have to switch again. So for example, if you're doing sales calls, you really should section off a part of your calendar that is available for sales calls and not let people schedule all throughout the day and week. If you're doing one sales call, then you have an hour before the next sales call, it's going to take you quite a bit of time just to get up and running on other tasks in that hour break that you have, and ultimately you're probably not going to get that much done. For me personally, I like to keep my calls on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So those are client onboarding calls, student strategy sessions, my coaching calls for my local marketing mastery mentorship, anything that requires me to be on Zoom, talk to people. It really helps me to know that I have those things focused on certain days of the week. And then my Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually call free. that is my time to focus on fulfillment work or building my business or content creation. So that's something that works for me personally, but everyone's a little different. So make sure you pay attention to how you work best if you ultimately want to succeed. I'd encourage you to look at 6 core categories of business and ask yourself, are you going to be spending personal time on them? And if so, how much time do you need to dedicate to those? You have things like sales, marketing, finance, fulfillment, hiring and firing, and management or training. So you may not have to be responsible for all of those things. If something you are doing is taking that off your plate, if you're outsourcing to someone, then you don't need to block that into your schedule. But if that is something that you even play a small role in on a weekly or monthly basis, go ahead and make sure that that specific business category has time blocked out on your calendar so that you can continue to improve those things every single week. If you don't choose where your time goes, it's going to choose for you. And ultimately, it's never going to be as effective as it would be if you planned out your time intentionally. Number 6, this is finding a coach, a mentor, or someone who can help you implement faster and easier. This is one of the biggest time-saving hacks that I have personally used, and I highly encourage you all to take advantage of it if you have not done so already. My coach saves me a tremendous amount of time every week, every month, every year. I know that if I'm ever dealing with anything, I can go to him, tell him what I'm dealing with, and he's going to have the easy button for me. It'll either be a resource that's already been created that I can start using right away. Maybe it's a template where I can create something I'm trying to create in half the time, if not less. Maybe it's a funnel template or an email template for a client issue. Anything that it is, I know that I don't have to spend my own personal time creating it on the front end. But even more importantly than that, I don't have to worry that I've wasted my time doing something that's not going to work for me or won't be effective. People can waste a lot of times doing the wrong things, then learning that those things were wrong, and then redoing it. So there is so much time that can be saved simply by knowing that what you're doing is the thing you should be doing, and that what you're spending your time on is not going to have to be redone. The amount of time that I'm able to save allows me to focus a lot more on other aspects of my business. My coach also really helps me find out how I can leverage my time in terms of the services and the products that I'm actually offering. That's one of the primary reasons I started working with him in the first place. I wanted to grow a more passive and highly leveraged business that I had, something that didn't need me every minute of every day, and something that I could grow well past 7 figures without feeling like I was going to rip my hair out every single day because the workload was just too much. Sometimes just restructuring the way that you do things or restructuring what it is that you're offering can totally change the game in terms of saving your time. If you haven't found a coach or a mentor that can help you do this, I would absolutely love to speak with you about my Local Marketing Mastery program. This program is designed specifically for local business owners and agency owners who serve local businesses. This is an all-encompassing program that will literally give you entire back-end sales systems, front-end funnels, ad copy, ad creative, business management documentation, SOPs for your team members to go through, onboarding documentation, and so much more. These are going to save you so much time by not having to create them, again, knowing they're done right the first time, and that they have been tested and proven to work. You are going to find so much peace by knowing that you are no longer in this alone. And as we talked about earlier, sales and marketing should be the core focus of your time, because without sales, you have no business. Without marketing, you have no opportunity to make sales. So if you are struggling with time right now, I want you to take the next step to saving it. Simply go to the link in the description, schedule a call to speak with me and my team and see just how much time we can save you, but also how much money we can help you make. Ultimately, the more time that you have, the more innovative ideas you will come up with, the more creative solutions you will find, the better processes you will put into place, the better training programs you will prepare for your staff so that they can continue to do more and more, and you will save more and more time. Reach out to us, set up a call, and see just how much time I can save you by being that easy button for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, give it a like, comment if you have questions, and subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a video.